This podcast is for voice teachers and coaches to answer the question, how do I grow my teaching business and even break out of that one-on-one lesson model so that I can reach and teach who I want whenever I want? I'm your host, Allie Tyler, voice teacher of over a decade and marketing and business coach for fellow voice teachers. Welcome to the Voicepreneur Podcast. Hello, lovely voice teacher. Welcome back or welcome to the Voicepreneur Podcast. I am so delighted as always that you are spending your time with me. Today, I was going to start this episode saying welcome back to another episode, but it really is not quite an episode. It's not exactly our typical format that we do on this podcast. I actually just wanted to hop on here to give you a little check-in. So you may have noticed that I have not put out an episode in a couple of weeks, and I swear on my life, I have ideas, I have content, I have things. We are ready to go, kind of. But I just couldn't get myself to do it. And it's funny, I have heard a lot of voice teachers talk about this where they have all these ideas, they know what it is that they want to do, but why is it so dang hard to actually follow through? So if you know anything about me, you know that follow through is my middle name. I love following through on my ideas. I get such a high and just this wonderful feeling of accomplishment. I don't even know. It's not even the right word, but just this wonderful feeling. Yeah, it's like a high after you've created something, right? It's like, I don't know if any of you are songwriters, but I'm a songwriter, and anytime I finish a song, oh my gosh, it feels so good, right? It just feels so good. Or maybe if you've written something, like you've written a big blog article, or heck, even a freaking Instagram caption, like anything that we are completing and we are putting out there, you know the feeling. It feels really freaking good. And I really pride myself on the fact that I continually show up for you and I continue to give you as much value as possible on this podcast, on my Instagram, in the email club, all of the things. And over these last couple of weeks, I just genuinely needed to take a break. But the weird thing was that I wasn't even able to articulate that. And that is something I feel a lot of us, especially if you live in a Western culture like me. I live in the United States, and over here in the US, America is all about hustle and grind and produce the things, and you are not worthy unless you are doing things. And it is actually really quite toxic, and it's frustrating because I went through these couple of weeks being like, what the frick is going on? Like, what is wrong with me? Right? I feel like that's a lot of what we do is like we put this blame on ourselves when we're not able to follow through, when we're not able to complete the task that we said we were going to complete. We immediately go into self-deprivation and self-criticism, and we just start questioning what is wrong with us. And truthfully, nothing's wrong with us. Nothing is wrong with us. Humans are not meant to work this hard. And I'm going to say that again because it's December. And if I know you, you're probably working your freaking booty off right now. December is a hard month. We are challenged emotionally, physically, like all of the things because we are gigging, we're rehearsing, we're buying the Christmas gifts, we're trying to make Christmas magical for our children while we're also singing Messiah and caroling and just, it's craziness. It's total craziness. I actually had a Facebook memory pop up very recently, maybe like last week, and it said something along the lines of, all right, y'all, I have 22 gigs in 16 days. Let me know your singer sustainability tricks. And I saw that and I was like, oh my God, how the heck did I do that? Literally can't even imagine doing that now. I cannot imagine doing that. But maybe you're in that boat. Maybe that's you. Maybe you are doing all of the caroling gigs and you are really in it this season. Or maybe you're deciding to take a little bit more of a reprieve this season, a little bit more rest. Good on you. I'm super proud of you for doing that because December is challenging for musicians. Extra challenging for musicians because we really are holding a lot for our community when it comes to the music aspect, right? And I'm going to be real with you. I'm always real with you, but I'm going to be real with this. I truthfully, I feel like a Scrooge this year. I am so not into this season. I am not about it. I am so over it. I'm recording this on December 12th and I'm like, is it done yet? Are we done? Can we just be done with this holiday season? I don't know what it is. It's funny because my son, he's about 2.5. He's almost 2.5. And he is so excited. Like, it's the cutest thing ever to hear him talk about Christmas lights. And he doesn't really quite understand Santa Claus yet. And that's fine because I have weird feelings about Santa as well. But, just the general spirit of Christmas, he's totally getting and he's totally loving. And this is the only thing that's getting me through, truly. My son Cadence is what is getting me through this holiday season. But if it weren't for him, and even despite him, I'm just not in it this year, y'all. I don't know why I'm not feeling the festive cheer. I'm feeling quite literally drained. And it took me really until now, like literally as I'm recording this, I hopped on because I declared this morning, I was like, you know what? I need a break. I just need a break. And it's hard. Again, this is December 12th. It's hard to claim that for yourself in the middle of the month, especially when you know that the break is coming. Like, I know I'm going to have a quote unquote winter break basically next week. We're going to leave for New York and we always spend the holidays out there with my in-laws. But again, another real truth moment here. That's not necessarily my type of break. I don't necessarily find it very restful to be spending all of my time with family and friends and doing all the thing. And man, don't I sound like a Scrooge right now? I really do. Like, I am going to do my very best to be as grateful as possible this season, but I am just really, really tired, y'all. I'm drained. I just need a break. And it's really interesting that I wasn't able to articulate that over the last couple of weeks. I was actually calling myself lazy, and shout out to one of my clients because she DM'd me after I had claimed that I was being lazy on Instagram stories to you all. She DM'd me and I think this was like a day or two later. She's like, Allie, I want you to know I've been thinking a lot about what you said about you being lazy, and I just don't agree. I do not think that you've been lazy. I genuinely think that you just need a break. And then I had another girlfriend tell me the exact same thing. And it was just, big hug, big shout out to you, because you know what? You were right. And this is an interesting discussion to have within ourselves, whether or not we are being lazy or whether or not we genuinely need a break. And that is tricky when you have been programmed and conditioned, like I have, to think that productivity equals worthiness, or that I am living life if I am doing all the things. It's really freaking hard for us to just pull back the curtain and decide, you know what? I'm going to slow down. And I'm going to slow down in the middle of the freaking month. Yes, a week and a half, 2 weeks before my quote unquote break. So that is what I've decided to do. And the moment that I felt that in my body, where I allowed myself that thought, I thought to myself, what if I hopped on the podcast and I said to everybody, hey y'all, I'm going to take a break. And I hopped on my Instagram and I said, hey y'all, I'm going to take a break. And I sent out an email and I said, hey y'all, I'm going to take a break. I can't even tell you the relief that just poured over me when I let myself think that. So I immediately hopped on here because this is just what I need to do to really feel in alignment for myself and just let you know that I'm going to be taking a little break. I don't know when I'm going to come back. Definitely in January, for sure. I just don't know the exact date yet, but I genuinely just need some time for myself. And I'm so freaking excited about this, you guys, because, as much as I'm being a little bit of a Scrooge this year, as much as I'm being a Scrooge, a Grinch, like I am just not into the whole Christmas thing, I am genuinely really starting to embrace the winter season. And I really think that's why I'm being a big old grouch about the holidays, because winter is all about resting. It is all about slowing down. So, I live in Colorado, and We have mountains everywhere, and it's kind of an interesting place to live because we certainly get winters. We get a lot of snow here. Although I will say, I don't believe it's quite as cold as places like the Midwest or the East Coast because we don't have humidity. It's very dry here. So I'm really grateful for that. But we have genuine winters, right? Like I'm looking out my window right now and it is gloomy AF. There is no sun. Like it is dark. And because there are mountains surrounded all around me, the sun rising and setting is a lot later and earlier than everywhere else, because when it rises, it has to rise, of course, over the mountains. So we have that much more time to even see the sun. And then when it sets so much earlier because, again, it's setting over the mountains, and the mountains are very tall. So our days are really short here. I think the sun is down. Like we do not see the sun around 4:15. And that's in about 2 hours from now. And I'm already mentally preparing myself for that. But here's the thing. I am really feeling called to embrace this winter season and all that the darkness can gift us. So many potent things can come from the winter. And it's such a beautiful reminder that we are nature and we are meant to align with nature. And here's something interesting to think about. What if instead of denying and defying the fact that it is getting darker a lot earlier and we're having these really, really long dark nights, we actually embraced the darkness? What if instead of turning on all of our fluorescent lights and being on screens and staring at our phone and watching Netflix and having all the lights on all the time to try and keep us awake, what if we actually aligned with nature? What if we kept everything a little bit dimmer? What if we embraced the darkness? What if we went outside? You know, like today, it is cold. It is very cold outside. It is like in the 20s. That's pretty dang cold for me. I'm still a California girl through and through. And I don't want to go outside. Like mentally, I'm like, oh, I do not want to go outside. But you know what I've been doing lately? I've been spending a lot of time outside and breathing in the cold air and appreciating the cold and everything that winter has to teach us. I went on a walk yesterday and I was walking by the river and I sat down by the river. We have just beautiful rivers here, right here in my town, like 2 minutes from my house. And I was sitting by the water, just looking at the river and noticing how calm it was. You know, there were ice patches. There was like a part of it that was frozen. And then there were parts around the frozen part where the water just was barely even moving. There's hardly any water because the rivers here are all filled from the snowfall. So we get massive rivers and flow and like, oh my gosh, it gets crazy in May and June, right? When the snow starts to melt. But right now in basically the dead of winter, or we're getting close to the dead of winter, there is hardly any water in there. And the water that is in there is not moving. It's very still. It like barely moves. And I'm just watching this going, wow, it's so interesting that so many of us think that we need to be in quote unquote summer energy all year long, when even nature does not want to be like that. Nature, Mother Earth, our Mother Nature is like, why on earth would I be summer all year long? Heck no, I need to take some time. I'm going to chill out. My river is going to be nice and still, maybe even frozen, like literally frozen, not even moving at all. And that is perfect. It has to be this way. It's necessary. It is necessary. So for me, I am really practicing shifting my mindset around winter. I am really trying not to complain that it is dark so early and not complain that, you know, it's winter, it's cold, it's not necessarily the air that we want to be running around outside in, but it is so necessary for our systems to have this season. Every season has a reason. So as I am approaching the winter, I'm thinking a lot about what I can do to really appreciate and embrace this season. And there's a lot of things that come to mind. Journaling, reading, playing games, playing puzzles, like just slowing down and just enjoying the slowness, enjoying the fact that we don't really need to be doing very much right now. And that is perfect. And I hope that this inspires you to unapologetically rest and take a break and do whatever you need to do to reset your own system, to appreciate winter, to appreciate the darkness and the cold, if you're in the northern hemisphere, that is, because that's what we're all experiencing up here, and allow yourself and your system to just have that time of literally doing nothing. I was actually watching Eat, Pray, Love the other night, and I love that book, and I hadn't seen that movie in a long time. And I can't remember the exact Italian word. I should have looked it up, but they talk about this Italian word that is the art of doing nothing. And it's something that Italians love to embrace. And I was just thinking a lot about that. Like, man, I just wish Americans could get behind this a little bit more. Let's really embrace the art of doing nothing this season. It is okay. So what I'm doing, and when I say the art of nothing, and I'm putting air quotes around that, I am going to take a little bit of a break from posting content and podcast episodes and all of that, but I am going to continue to pour into my clients and my community. That is always going to be the place that I am pouring into no matter what, because y'all are my paying people. So if you are not a part of my community, the Voicepreneur movement, the Voicepreneur community, oh my gosh, what are you waiting for? It is so awesome. I love my people. I love you guys so much. And you know who you are. And it's a really, really special community. The Voicepreneur program in particular, where we get to connect with one another on Zoom every other week and have these group calls and really support one another with growing and scaling our businesses. It is so delicious. And I am so grateful for you all. You are the people that keep me going. You really are. So if you are super jazzed and excited and motivated to have a great start to 2024, I definitely recommend coming and joining us inside of the Voicepreneur program. It really is the very, very, very best place to grow and scale your teaching business. And you have me and you have others, and it is just an incredible support network. I love it so much. And if that's not quite where you're at yet, that is okay. There are plenty of other ways that we can still stay connected. I am absolutely still popping into the tea, which is one of my other favorite places to hang out. That is our Voxer Q&A broadcast. I am in there answering questions via voice text, and it is so much fun. It is so much fun. I love it in there. So that's another place that I'm hanging out frequently. And it's also a wonderful way to continue getting ongoing business support. And what's really cool about the tea is that you can just ask your question like anytime, literally. You don't have to wait for a one-on-one call. You don't have to wait for a group call. You don't have to wait for anything. You can just type in your question and I will answer it within a couple of days. So it truly is ongoing business support. It is having me in your back pocket. And of course, I will not stop that. So I'm going to be hanging out in there as well. And all of the other offers are going to be inside of the show notes for you to take a look at. And of course, you can peruse any of the other episodes that I've put inside of this podcast. There are so many juicy ones in there, especially if you really go back all the way a year from now. One of my favorite episodes is how to create a New Year intention. And I give you an entire process on how to do that. And I know the new year is coming up really soon. I'm probably not going to be in the podcast then. So go and check out that episode if you want to have some grounding and some motivation for the start of your 2024. And yeah, I hope that this is inspiring for you. I truly do. I really, really, really want to give you permission to listen to your body, to not have this inner war with yourself like I was having over the last couple of weeks where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so lazy. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Let's just stop that. There is nothing wrong with you, and there is nothing wrong with me. We are human beings, and genuinely, we are not meant to work this hard. Yet we do it anyway. And it's quite amazing. Like, it is so fucking amazing how much we can take on especially this time of year. And you can be super proud of yourself for that. I am super proud of you for that. And please let this be a reminder for you that our bodies, our physical bodies, were not meant to work this hard. And it is so okay to take a break. Take a genuine break. Like if you are actually going to be taking time off, let's say Christmas week, in between Christmas and New Year's, or maybe through New Year's, however you're doing that with your teaching schedule, I want you to actually unplug. Can you get off of social media? Can you stop watching Netflix? Can you challenge yourself to live like we used to before we had these crazy blue screens everywhere in front of us? Like how our ancestors used to embrace this time of year. Let's come back to that. Let's come back to our primal roots. Let's come back to just tending to ourselves, listening to our intuition, listening to our body, and not getting so caught up in trying to get it all done and have the perfect new year and have it all planned out. Like truthfully, I don't even do my New Year's process till the end of January. I am just like, it just doesn't feel good this time of year to be thinking about a whole new plan for the next year. I'm just not in that state right now. I need to genuinely shut down my battery and process 2023. And so if you are feeling that way, I give you all the encouragement, all the permission. Take your dang break. And I'm going to do the same. And I cannot wait to see you back here in a few weeks, whenever it is. I love you so much. And I can't wait to hear how your winter goes. I'll catch you in the next episode. Oh my goodness, that was so juicy, and I'm so glad you're still here listening. You are amazing, and I can't wait to see what you take away from this episode and what you bring into your teaching business. Oof, it is going to be so good. If you want to come and see for yourself what it means to grow and scale your teaching business, come and check out the resources inside of the show notes or visit us over at thevoicepreneur.com. If you enjoyed this episode, take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at The Voicepreneur. Or if that's not your vibe, that's totally fine. Share it with your two best voice teacher friends so that we can continue spreading the good word that you can create a sustainable, spacious, and fun as fudge cake teaching business that makes an enormous impact on your students' lives and your life and your bank account. It's awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see how your business changes your life. I'll catch you in the next episode.